for a living, baby. How you doing?
Oh yeah, enjoying my last cheap good beer here in the old Czech. This will be the last solo podcast that gets posted from good old Jihlava. You guys are gonna have to say goodbye to the curtains. Those people on YouTube that really liked those. I'm going to miss this little apartment, but at the same time, I am excited for the next move. And man, the universe is a magical thing, man. Really, really, really magical. You know, not to get too hippie, but you know, you look at this. You feel me? Actually, let me get the crystal coming out. Yeah, there we go. Now we got the full vibes going. But yeah, like I said, last podcast here in Czech Republic. I am moving to Finland in a couple days, probably when this gets posted. I don't know when I'm going to post this. I don't know what number this is going to be. I'm not doing an intro. I'm just getting right into it. I don't know how long this one's going to be. I just felt like I needed to do a last pod here, and I got some stuff on my mind. You know that. I got some shit I need to complain about. But like I said, universe is a great place. It's magical. I have in my mind been having the idea ever since 2019 didn't work out in Finland, and I left the team before the season started due to someone being completely incompetent in charge, or someone incompetent being in charge. Yeah, however, you know what I mean. I wanted to get back there because one, like I enjoyed my time in Finland a lot, except for at practice, and I didn't really like my living situation there in Vasa either. Sorry, Rico. Sorry, Mark. You guys were fucking annoying roommates. But I really enjoyed the Finnish people, all the guys on the team, everybody I met in the community, all that stuff. My grandma is full-blood Finn, so I kind of feel a little connection there. I kind of maybe look a little Finnish. So I wanted to get back. I didn't know if it was going to exactly be possible or not, because I know maybe the name kind of got dragged through the mud a little bit. I wasn't sure. But in my mind, I just always kept thinking, yo, that's where I want to get back to. One, prove it to myself because it's some good ball, but two, I also want to prove it to whoever out there. And so in 2020 was supposed to be in Spain, and then I was thinking maybe I'd go to Finland after. I was talking to the team I just signed with about maybe coming in as kind of like a insurance policy for their quarterback during playoffs. Well, long story short, COVID happened. They didn't need that. I ended up playing here in Czech Republic anyway. Again, they didn't need it. They won the championship. And so I still didn't really know. But then once this offseason hit, started hitting up some teams in Finland, messaging them. And originally my idea, like as I move forward in my career, something on my mind is I'd really like to be head coach quarterback at some point in my career. I think, after 5-6 seasons of QBOC, I'm pretty successful at that. I felt like kind of that next step was to do the head coaching thing. And with a lot of these teams, I've kind of been semi-head coach in terms of practice planning and talking to guys and stuff like that. And so it wasn't going to be some crazy role. It was more just the title, maybe a little bit more bread, you feel me? But, yeah, so I hit up a few teams in Finland. I didn't hit up the two teams I considered to be the best because they had good head coaches and, good programs in place. And so that wasn't, who I was thinking. So I hit up 4 teams, got left on red by all 4 of them. And so I was kind of like, man, fuck y'all. But then luckily, or luck, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know if it's luck or magic or the universe or life, the team that won the championship last year, who I had been talking to previous years, hit me up and said, hey, our quarterback's not coming back. And he'd been there for 4 seasons. So we think you would fit in really good with us. And I was like, okay. So I can't get a message back from the team that won 1 game, but the team that won the championship's hitting me up. So that was dope for me. My ego, definitely. And also, yeah, for my ego. and then in turn for just me, myself, because I'd been planning on my off season being a couple months long, was planning to go to Portugal, was able to save some money here in Czech this season. And so I figured, I'd be spending most of that money I saved during the off season on rent and food and flights and all that stuff. And just so happens that the team I'm going to now, the Kuopio Steelers, they want me to come in right away so they can have a quarterback at practice through these winter months. And once they brought that up, I thought, well, that's not how I had been planning. And if you know me, I'm a Virgo and I like to fucking plan shit out. And then once things get off plan, it's kind of hard for me sometimes to get my mind around it. Even like I've said, I think before, like even if the plan is to not have a plan, I want to stick to that plan, So like, if I'm out traveling and the plan for the day is let's just freestyle it and not have a plan. And then all of a sudden someone I'm with or something comes up and it's like, hey, so you want to go do this and then do that? Like I might want to go do those things, but it's just hard for my mind to get around the idea of the initial plan. And so that's a blessing and a curse for myself. I've used it to my advantage, I think, a lot in my life of like, okay, here's my plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to make it happen. And then bam, I'm going to make it happen. And normally, like if I take my life from like 6-month segments or even year segments, it almost goes exactly how I plan on it, almost all the time. Obviously, occasionally, they throw a little wrench in the system, and then when that happens, it can really fuck with me. And I can, get off into a little depression, kind of slump, funk, whatever you want to call it, that it takes me a week or 2 or whatever to kind of fix everything in my mind. And so that's, in a way, that's why COVID and lockdowns have been really, really difficult for me. Just because, like, this wasn't part of the plan, motherfucker. And so, yeah, once he said, hey, yeah, you could come in a couple weeks. And I was like, I'm supposed to go to Portugal. That's my plan. But after thinking, I was like, well, let me go play some ball. Let me go get paid. Portugal would be amazing. I love it there. I do. But there ain't that much shit to do with lockdown life, and I'd just be spending money. That's what that sound is. And so this change of plans in my mind only took me about 10 minutes to figure out, or maybe 2 hours. 2 hours rather than 2 weeks. So yeah, that is the new plan. And things so far have had a couple wrenches thrown into the system. I normally, before traveling, I like to send my suitcase to wherever I'm traveling because it costs maybe like 10 more euros than checking it. But then I don't have to carry it with me on the bus, on the metro, on the train, in the car, wherever. I get to just backpack it up and walk through with the carry-on. And it's, for me, that 10 extra euros is worth the hassle. And I'm not standing any big bucks or nothing like that, but I don't know. That's something I'll pay for a little bit of convenience. So I was supposed to have the people come pick up my suitcase this week. They didn't. the fucking courier service lied and said they came to the door, which I think they did come to the door. I got a ring at the doorbell. I answered, hello, buzzed them in, and then no one came upstairs. And then they lied and said that the address wasn't correct or something, when if you type it in Google Maps and everything I said was right, and then my phone number was incorrect. I think it's just a Czech motherfucker being lazy is what I think with excuses. Which, I hate to say this, I don't know how many Czech people are listening, but if you are, sorry. But that's the one thing I've noticed a lot in Czech Republic, and now I can say it that I'm getting the fuck out of here, is Czech people love to make excuses. Like, more than anyone. And it's like, again, this is blanket statements. I don't really fucking care. I'm being polar. I'll talk some shit. And it's like they think they're being smart about it. Like in terms of coaching and stuff, like out here, that's where I've really experienced it, about guys like giving some excuse for fucking up a play or not come to practice or whatever it may be. And they think they're slick and they think they're really smart about it. But I can see through bullshit, because you're looking at one of the best excuse giver bullshitters in the world right here. I grew up like that. I'm not that way anymore, but it takes one to know one, as the old adage says, and I used to be one. What's the other one? You can't bullshit a bullshitter. And so I think that's just kind of what probably happened with there. So I'm worried about getting that all fucking figured out with hopefully my main homie here in Jihlava. I can take it to his place and they'll pick it up from there on Tuesday. And then I got to get a COVID test, and now we're going to get into some COVID shit. So just prepare for this, which is so backwards. But I got to get a COVID test before arriving to Finland, even though Finland is giving away free COVID tests. But in order to avoid a voluntary 10-day quarantine in Finland, you have to have 2 tests within 72 hours that are both negative. And so figuring out the scheduling to get that done has been a bit of an issue, because I didn't know exactly if I was going to Prague tomorrow, which was before I fly out, or a day before I fly out, or what. And so that's been a hassle, combined with the suitcase. And maybe I'm just complaining about some bullshit. But I was talking with my coach in Finland, and he said, I told him, I was like, dude, this doesn't make any sense. The logical sense about, like, because in my mind, okay, if Finland's offering me a free test when I arrive and I test negative, I pass the test, then I should be good, no? But I guess it could take a couple days to get the results back. I don't know. I just don't understand why I need to get one before I go. But I don't understand why anything is the way it fucking is right now. So, as he said to me, which is a big reason I'm excited about getting back to Finland, is they keep it really straightforward, despite the fact that it might hurt your feelings. It doesn't feel, and I was only there for 6 weeks before, but so far it doesn't feel like there's much excuses coming out of Finnish people. So I'm excited for that. And he said, dude, he didn't say dude, but in his mind, I know he meant dude. Dude, stop trying to make logical sense over anything related to COVID, because you're just going to hurt your brain and you won't figure out an answer. And it's like, I knew that, but then just to hear someone else say it was like, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I'll get this. I'm scared. I don't want to get my brain touched. I don't know why these COVID tests have to fucking touch your brain when we can do a 23andMe DNA swab around my mouth with a Q-tip 1 or 2 times, and you can tell me who my fucking great grandfather is. Yet, in order to get this miracle virus, we got to touch my my skull. Conspiracy theory, there's something weird going on with that. I don't exactly know what. I've been trying to avoid it. I'm going to really, I don't know. They can't, I don't know. Whatever. I'll get it done. If they give me the mark of the beast, I'll just be better than it. You know, that's with COVID right now. I'm concerned with the fact that eventually they're going to make some vaccine required to travel, to get on airplanes, maybe to play football, to do whatever. And when that happens, man, I'm going to have a really interesting idea, you know, about what I really want to do, because I do not believe in that vaccine. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. When it normally takes 2 years or 3 years or whatever to do a vaccine, and then they're going to pop one out in 6 months, and there's that much money on the line with Bill Gates, who doesn't have any fucking medical background at all, is now like the Lord and Savior and the voice of reason for vaccines and fucking public health, who's also the 3rd or 4th richest person in the world. That doesn't add up when his investments and companies and all that shit are set to make a lot of money off of vaccines. So, again, don't come at me on some anti-vax bullshit, even though I would prefer that we don't have vaccines in general. I mean, you know, you can look up history. I'm not going to get into that right now because I don't fucking care enough, and I really don't want to change your mind, because if you're listening to this, you have an opinion on it, and odds are you're pretty stuck in that opinion in the same way I'm stuck in mine. Although if you could really show me some true facts about vaccines really working without some harmful side effects, I would be open to changing my mind. But I think off the top of my head, actually this isn't off the top of my head, I'm going to search it really quick. U.S. government payment for vaccines. Vaccine injury compensation. The reason I'm looking this up is just to explain something that, where is it? Petitions filed. Vaccine. Lawsuit payouts. America. Okay, here we go. As of October 2019, $4.2 billion. I said billion with a B. And for all you slow motherfuckers out there, billion is way bigger than million. $4.2 billion in compensation, not including attorney's fees and costs, has been rewarded for people filing claims in the Court of Federal Claims. Oh. So, since just last year, in total, there's been $4.2 billion paid out to families for vaccines fucking up people, kids, whatever. So, me, as a logical person that I like to try to be, would say, hey, Joey, if someone's paying $4.2 billion, and again, billion, not million, just so we're all clear what a billion versus a million is, by the way, like a million seconds is like a week and a half, I think, about 10 days, 12 days or something. A billion seconds is 32 years. Okay? Like if you were paid, again, I'm going off the top of my head right now. If you were paid like $500 an hour, it would take you like a year or something, or maybe I don't know. It would take you 6 months, let's just say. My math's going to be wrong. I know the other one. It would take you 6 months to get to $1 million. If someone paid you $500 an hour, it'd take you like 537 years to get to $1 billion. So Just like so we're on the same page, I just want people to understand how big billion is versus million, because we're very simple these days. And we can only know what the fucking news tells us. And then we don't question anything. And if you do, you're an ist. Racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic. What else could you be? Misogynist, conspiracist. You just become an ist or an ism. And I think that's bullshit. And so anyway, I'm not a big proponent on something that has that much money being paid out in lawsuits, basically to keep people quiet. You know, and I would highly recommend watching the podcast of Theo Vaughn with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he says some facts about the different regulations from FDA and all these things about how vaccines basically like don't have to be safe because of this loophole in the rules, that they avoid these regulations that other medicines are required. So anyway, I'm not too stoked on one, even just getting tested. Two, I will not get the vaccine. I will start figuring out if I got to travel to Asia via boat, maybe a sailboat in the future for your boy. I will do that. I'll do fucking trains, not planes, automobiles. And yeah, or maybe my cousin's a pilot. Maybe Heather can start flying internationally. We get a plane. We get some like non-vaccine airline going. That'd be kind of dope, actually. Also, in terms of this COVID vaccine, I've heard from multiple doctors that are, in the ICUs and stuff saying, if you want to have kids, don't get the COVID vaccine, because they're not even telling the doctors what's in it. You can look up some of that shit that is going in it. I mean, pretty much any time you're putting mercury in your body, and I don't even actually know if this is in the COVID one, but mercury's in a lot of the new vaccines. Like, they're gonna lie to you, but mercury is a toxic substance. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna listen to some fake fucking science saying that, well, in a small dose, it's not okay. No, they tell you not to eat a lot of fish because there could be mercury in it. Yet, no, it's okay if we inject it in you and you pay us to do so. I mean, golly, we are fuck. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. We'll cross that bridge when it happens. We just got to worry about getting to Finland first and foremost. But yeah, I would say I'm excited to be leaving. I will say that. Czech Republic it's been good to me. It's just like you may have heard in past podcasts, just not, this area just isn't where I want to be overall. I've been lucky to, over these last few months, to make a couple of really good friends in the community that have, really helped me out. I have a few Czech friends, that really, really have helped me out in certain little times with getting this testing thing, whatever it may be. And so I'm super grateful for those people. You know who you are. I don't know if they listen to this or not. But for the most part out here, and as I've said, it's just a weird vibe. And I feel right now especially, and I don't know how serious people are taking it, anytime, and maybe other people feel like this elsewhere too, but when I'm just walking around, like I walk in the forest occasionally, and people are wearing a mask in the forest, or walking down the street, without anybody around and masks on, you can just, basically, I feel like I am the only character in the game that's actually playing the game. Everybody else is just the non-playable characters that's just like droning on through life. And I'm sure that happens everywhere, like I said, but out here it's like I'm fucking in Red Dead Redemption and everybody else is just a side quest mission. Oh, I miss Red Dead Redemption. That shit was so fire. Red Dead Redemption 2 or 3 is out now. Man. Or Grand Theft Auto. I mean, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption are like the same thing. Last time I got Grand Theft Auto was when I was in college, and I'm like play it until I beat it, and that's all I spend my time doing. And so I'd played it for like 10 hours straight for like 4 days straight, basically, or every waking moment I had, free moment, I was playing it. And dude, it fucks with your brain after a while. Like I can remember like walking to the store after, and I could like, I was thinking of myself like I was looking at a third person, like from the sky, and I could see like my health meter and, you know, like the cop stars and what weapons or, well, I didn't have any weapons, but if I did, you know, like it was like I was real life video gaming. And out here, like it kind of feels like that without all of the extra stuff. Like I'm first person Call of Duty in, and everybody else is just the computer. And so I'm excited. I don't know, maybe I don't think Finland's going to be like that. From what I hear, life's pretty normal, which will be great. You know, it's like depending on where you are in the States, life is normal. I was just talking to my homie who lives in Florida, and he was like, yeah, bro, I'm pretty sure no one in Florida really gives a fuck about COVID. He's like, at least not the Cubans in the strip club and the people on Muscle Beach working out. I was like, I see what you've been doing, my guy. But yeah, man. So I'm excited about that. Really, really, really excited to just something new. You know, something new, a change up, but also at the same time some certainty. And that's going to be nice at this point in my life, given the circumstances. So, yeah. Sorry, Czech Republic. I'm not trying to talk shit about you or anything like that. I'm just speaking my mind, and it is what it is. That's the one thing nowadays. You just literally have to apologize for everything. Oh, this might hurt this person's feelings. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend this. Like when I was talking with Craig on the pod like a week ago, and he said something about, you know, how outdoor comedy shows now, like you have to battle with motorcycles, and he said he did one across the street from a hospital, so ambulances are just like flying in and out, like you gotta wait. And he's like, you know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say anything bad about the people that are in the ambulance. And it's like, holy fuck, are we at this point now in life where we have to apologize and try not to offend a person we don't know in the back of an ambulance just so people won't come for us? Like, if you're someone that is commenting and coming for people over small little semantic problems, the way they speak, let's just get this clear. Your life is really fucking good, okay? Like, your life is really good. If you're coming at people for, well, that's disrespectful to the people in the ambulance, Joey, Craig, you don't know what they're going through. If that's you, fuck you. It's like, dude, we are turning into the softest society ever. And the problem is, the dumbest and most extreme people are the loudest. And so that's a big reason, you know, and maybe I'm part of it, who knows? But that's part of what I'm trying to do here. Talk about it and get it out. I don't think so. I have quite a few people that hit me up and say, dude, it's nice to hear you talk. Like, you actually speak fucking truth and with some logic that's just so far gone right now. And especially on the West Coast, it is gone. In the major cities, Seattle, Portland, LA, San Francisco, logic is gone. Phew. See ya. It's gone. It like, oh shit, sorry, I hit the camera. It's gone. And I don't know if it's coming back. I don't know. Like I've said, you know, I've always been a West Coast, best coast kind of guy, talking shit about East Coast. And even though East Coast was cool, but I've always said West Coast is the best coast. We got the best beaches. We got the best weed. We got the more laid back people. I mean, those two probably go hand in hand, but we just got the best coast. I ain't on that train anymore. I'm sorry, you know? But I also feel that's a sign of maturity. You know, a sign of maturity is changing your mind. A sign of maturity is changing your mind about something you feel incredibly passionate about. And I was always, man, West Coast, the best coast, telling all my friends, no, you got to come to the West Coast when you visit. And if you're just going to come and visit, yeah, you should. Seattle is cool in the summer. San Francisco, LA, dope. San Diego, Portland's cool too. Keep Portland weird is like the theme. Like, it's cool, but the motherfuckers that have kind of taken over those cities in terms of like the overall message, whether it's from city council that's also, you know, bled out into the people, fucking sucks, dude. Like, sucks. I keep saying, if I was ever going to move back to the US, which I don't see happening anytime soon, permanently, I mean, I'm living in either Florida or Texas or maybe North Carolina, South Carolina. Shit, I might have to go try out Alabama. I don't know if I can do that. Although I'm being ignorant here because I've never been to Alabama, never been to Arkansas. I'm just judging right now. And so I should shut the fuck up because I'm sure Alabama right now is pretty dope and got some people that might be perceived by the media or other people as less educated or intelligent or whatever. But at this point, like, intellectuals, I don't even want to be in that category. I mean, intellectuals now have this incredibly warped perception of what reality really is. You know, like I said, the people who are really getting mad over wear a mask and oh, you said this and that offends that, and oh, are you homophobic when you say that? Is those people, one, your life is fucking great, because if those are the things that you're trying to find something to complain about, that was a horrible sentence, then your life is really good. Like, I would implore you to go visit a third world country when you can. You won't, because you don't really care about anything outside of your own bubble, but I would implore you to go visit a third world country to just see how good you have it. You know, my month in Nepal was absolutely amazing because, you know, just to be straight, it's a third world country. The roads are fucking terrible. Even in the capital city, I mean, horrible. There's no traffic lights. You're driving around. You got to go around a cow in a roundabout that's 20-lane roundabout with no lanes. I mean, there's people, the living conditions for the most part aren't great. You know, you see some of these phone wires, telephone wires. I mean, it looks like a junkyard. You know, obviously there's nice parts in every city, but I mean, on the overall spectrum, like, it's a tough life out there, like, comparatively speaking to the US. And I've never been around so many outwardly friendly and happy people that were grateful for what they had, from little kids at 5 years old to grandmas that are 85 years old. And I met a bunch of them because I was fortunate enough to be with my brother Sanjuk when I was there, and I literally got treated like a local, as much as a face like this can be treated like a local. The best was traveling with those guys because there's totally two different price points for locals versus tourists. And so I'm with two locals, and I just kind of hang out while they're getting the taxi, and they bargain the taxi down to a good local price. And then, all right, Joe, come on. And you see the taxi look at him like, man, you got a fucking white guy with you. I should be charging you double for this. But they didn't. So yeah, that's my message to those people out there who would just want something to complain about, is, all this like gender fluidity stuff, which I'm not saying does not exist, but the way that the pronouns and all of that shit has just been blasted into the forefront of conversations. We have it really good, you guys. Like that shit doesn't really exist in third world countries because their biggest problem for the day would be to make sure I've had 3 meals and that everybody in my family has also. And so, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration now that I say it, but dude, that's how it is. And I just think we need a lot of self-reflection, which, in my opinion, the people that need it most don't think they need it because they think they're the enlightened ones. They think that they're not the racist ones. That's what's so crazy right now to me about the far left is like, to me, the far left is like almost all of the ists, because every issue is about race or sex or gender or whatever. And that's not reality at all. And the more you focus on it and hypersensitize things, it's not just going to go away. And I'm not saying that like not talking about it makes it go away either, but there's a balance. And when it's all the extreme left wants to talk about, where they're letting kids pick their gender at 2 years old, like, or get abortions after the baby's been born. Like, bro, I'm pro-choice, but I also think that I'm not black and white on many things at all. It's a scale of gray. And abortion, if the kid's been born and then you kill it, that's murder. Holy smokes. But according to them, that's the choice and that's the right and that's the plight of the woman. And it's like, dude, I was so excited. Tim Dillon had Candace Owens on his podcast this morning or last night. It got released this morning here in Czech Republic. And I woke up like a kid on Christmas about to watch this thing, dude, just because Tim Dillon is, if you're not watching his podcast, he's slowly becoming my favorite over Theo, even though there's something to Theo that just, Tim and Theo are like very similar and incredibly different at the same time. But Tim is incredibly knowledgeable with a lot of the political stuff, and he has Candace on, and he doesn't agree with everything she says, and I know she gets a bad rap in the media and all that stuff because she's a black woman who is happy and likes living in the US, and yeah, those are kind of the two things. The extreme left only wants people of color or immigrants or whatever, or women they only want them to complain about whatever their problem is. And listen, there's some shit to complain about. There's some shit that needs to be fixed. But But overall, like I said, our lives in the US are pretty fucking good. And so, yeah, it's like an hour long. I know the people who hate Candace Owens will never change their mind on it, but it's a good listen, because again, I don't agree with a lot of, not everything she says, but a lot of the stuff she says is just common sense. And unlike so many people nowadays, there's a sense of humor, and a sense of humor regarding themselves. You know, like, dude, it's okay to laugh. You guys, laughing is good. Smiling is good. We need that. I just started watching. I've been getting in a little bit of YouTube rabbit hole the last couple days, and I forget what's his, Balin Levine is his name, I think. He's like 19-year-old YouTuber. He's like Danny Duncan Jr. He does pranks and just kind of fucks with people, and like, I kind of hate him, and at the same time I love him, because he exposes all these people that are just so mature. And that's one of his little catchphrases things, mature people are weenies. It's like, just all these people that are taking life so seriously, to the point that, like, they can't laugh at an 18-year-old kid making a fart sound or something like that. Like, dude, I don't know about you, but the day that farts become not funny is a day that I don't want to be here anymore. Farts are always funny. Seriously. Tell me a fart that wasn't funny in history. Maybe to you it wasn't funny, but I guarantee you to me it was funny. And so that's kind of one of those little like gauges I use on life, is like, okay, the day that someone farts in public and I hear it and I don't chuckle, or the day I fart in front of a friend or a girlfriend or something and it's not funny, man, give me the vid. I'm ready to call it a day. Fatten me up and give me the vid, because I don't need to be here anymore. You know? Like, farts just, dude, farts are the best. Seriously. Farts are so good. I wish I could fart right now. That'd just be perfect. Damn, we're at 40 minutes already? Holy smokes. Wow. We're going. I wanted to get a last one in before it was all said and done here in the CZ. And yeah, I think obviously I need to get some shit off my chest. Hey, thank you to everybody out there who's been listening and supporting. I know I say that all the time, but it's really cool to see where this is going. And I know, maybe it's going nowhere. That's okay. It's been fun, and I have a lot of fun with it. And, to the people that do hit me up and talk about it and say, hey, I'm looking forward to the next one. Like, yo, I appreciate you. And I'm going to just speak what I've been thinking a little bit lately and regarding the podcast. I was talking to my brother the other day, who really hyped me up, which made me feel really good. And actually, last few people I've been talking to, my boy Colin, homie Nico today, everyone was saying, bro, just keep at it, because you're on to something. And obviously my ego likes to hear that, and I fucking agree. But I realize right now at this stage in time, positivity and different outside, maybe semi-worldly views that I have aren't really cool and aren't really popular. Right now, what's cool is controversy, negativity, victimhood. What else is cool right now? TikTok. I like TikTok though. Being mad and complaining What else is cool right now? Which I do some, I get a little mad and a little complaints in there occasionally, you know, and I gotta try and get both sides of the aisle. Oh, picking a side is cool, you know, and I think as me being, I feel in the middle, even though I now being in the middle because the left has taken the left so far that way, it's almost made everyone who's in the middle a part of the right, if that makes sense. You know, I view myself now, if I had to label myself, I think I'm a conservative liberal, which is like literally not a thing, you know? Or maybe it is. Is it? Let me Google that. What happens if you Google conservative liberal? Oh, okay, there is such things. Conservative liberalism is a variant of liberalism combining liberal values and policies with conservative stances, are simply representing the right wing of the liberal movement. Again, I just don't want to be a part of either wing because both wings are a part of the same stupid fucking bird. So, but if that's how I had to describe, I would also say I'm a libertarian. What's the definition of libertarian, though? Libertarian definition. A libertarian is an advocate or supporter of a political philosophy that advocates only minimal state intervention in the free market and the private lives of citizens. A person who advocates civil liberty. Yeah, I would say like I'm yeah, that's what, like basically, listen, I know some people need help and we need to help them in certain times. I'm not opposed to taxes as long as the taxes benefit somebody somehow. You know, like if again, like in Finland right now. So I'm going to Finland. There's a free COVID test when you arrive in Finland. Free. Yeah, you heard that. For anybody. Free. And, you know, I was talking with my coach there. I said, dude, free? I had to read that like 3 different times just to make sure you said that right. And he's like, yeah, you know, I mean, the taxes, well, he didn't mention the taxes, but they pay a lot of taxes over there. But also the education, healthcare, all that stuff is high quality and maybe not completely free, but incredibly affordable. And so for that, whether I need the healthcare or whether I need the education or not, I know that me paying a tax is going to help somebody out there. The problem in the US is that where do our taxes really go? I know a lot of them go to the military to protect our democracy and freedoms in 160 some countries that we're stationed in. And for all of this democracy we're fighting for in the Middle East, damn, it's taking a long time for it to happen. It's only 20 years and we don't have an exit strategy at all. It's just the continuous warfare that they want to build us into, because I know this is a complex issue for you, but there are people that are making a lot of money from us being at war, quote unquote war. It's not me, it's not you, it's not the common person, but it's the person who's paying the politicians to help get us over there and stay over there. And so I don't know how you can't get that, but I mean, the amount that we spend on military is absolutely insane. I think only like 6.2% goes to Social Security, I think, you know, and if we made that more or something, like that'd be cool. My dad's 80, my dad's 79, my mom's 69. I'd be cool. It's helping them out. It's going to help me out eventually. Like, but what military? Listen, this isn't a knock on anybody in the military, because I respect the fuck out of you, because it's something I would never do. And although I say I would never do it, that doesn't mean I respect you twice as much because it's something I would never do. But there's better ways to spend the money, in my humble opinion, you know, and that's the craziness that's going on right now with the just retards of the US is like, we are so backwards in our thinking and ideas that like people are like now looking at China and like their authoritative ways as like good examples. It's like people are saying, oh, well, if we would have just handled it how China handled it, or Australia or New Zealand, and New Zealand's super socialist, which, listen, New Zealand girls and Australian girls are hot. Just from what I've heard. Actually, I've heard life in Australia is really good too, for the most part. Like, you can make some decent money. But anyway, this is not the point at all I'm trying to make. Although if you're Australian or New Zealand out there, what's up, girl? Put another shrimp on the Barbie. But they say, oh, well, if we handle it like China did, I'll just stick to China. They say, well, then it would be back to normal because they are already back in da-da-da-da-da. Well, research how China handled it. I know some of these Asian countries handled it, but I'm just going to talk shit about China for now. You had to like check into a hotel, essentially, a solitary confinement hotel for, I want to say 16, 17 weeks. Or maybe this is New Zealand I'm talking about right now. I've read both of them, but literally you had to quarantine by like checking into this self-isolation chamber room for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, 4 weeks, 17 weeks. I don't know how long, a long fucking time. And people are like, we should do that. Like, but then on the flip side, they'll say, America's the best because we're so free. It's like that's part of the issue right now is people don't even know what the fuck they're saying. They literally say the opposite things and have no clue about it. So, yeah, that's that rant for right now. Yeah, I am going to miss this beer, though. Craft beer, American Pale Ale, 5% alcohol. This is on sale in the stores for 18 crown, which 18 crown comes out to be less than $1. Probably like 80 cents. I think $1 is like 25 crown, 24 crown. So like 80 cents. I'm getting a nice little APA. Or as they'd say it here, an APA. An APA or an IPA. And that will not be the case when I go to Finland. So I'm just trying to enjoy that a little bit, which is all right. I don't really like drinking like that anyway. It's more... I guess I do like drinking, but I don't like drinking in terms of the price that it costs. And so here in Czech was like the first time I've ever really like drank somewhat regularly, simply because like I could afford to, or I guess I could afford to other places. It's just, it wasn't this major cost in my mind. So we'll finish up there. I'll finish up the beer. Yeah, this is some good shit. Where's this from? Stato Bruno. Oh, from Bruno maybe? It's a Czech beer, but it's good. All right, I think that's it. I don't really know where else to go from here. You know, I want to reiterate, just the idea of the universe. And when I say that, I just mean like truly believing something and thinking about it a lot and kind of talking about the secret, but also like putting action to it. And then that thing just ends up happening. And like I said, it's happened a lot of times in my life. Yeah. I thought, I'll just, couple examples. I thought when I was in junior college, I was going to start my first year there. And so that was the plan. I was working hard towards that. It didn't exactly happen. They told me I should gray shirt that year. Again, that wasn't part of the plan. I was fucked in the head for a little while. Went home, cried, called my dad, said I wanted to leave, was butthurt, went and checked out another school. Then I finally realized, like, no, this is a place I need to be, with the coach I need to be. And then I said, now my plan is I'm going to be the best scout team quarterback, best teammate, and it's going to be my team next year. And then next year, I'm going to ball the fuck out, and I'm going to get a D1 Scully. And so that's what happened. And so then I got the Scully to North Dakota. I got there, sophomore. I said, okay, I'm going to beat out. I'm picking a school based on the fact I can play right away. And I get there, and I got to beat out a fifth-year senior quarterback who's been in the system his whole career. And I did that. And then somewhere along the season, I just wasn't mature enough probably at 20 years old, 21 years old to be in that position. And it's first and foremost my fault, but there wasn't any support for me from the coaching staff, from the coaching, and that's such a huge thing I've realized throughout my life now is like, if you have someone believing in you, even if you don't fully believe in yourself, like it'll carry forward. And I felt like the opposite in North Dakota about it. And so that got in my mind and ended up getting benched 7th game. And then it was just kind of like all hope was lost in me. I think I kind of lost hope in the team or like that coach out there. I've talked shit about him before. Not a good person, not a good coach. Great O-line coach, terrible head coach. And so once I knew I had to transfer, I had a good little transfer situation. It didn't work out. I had to spend time at home. Looked up, I had to go D2, looked up all these things. Ultimately, it led to New Haven. And I said, okay, I'm going to go to New Haven. They hadn't offered me. I haven't even talked to them yet. But in my mind, I was like, this is the spot. Well, I probably emailed 30 to 40 Division II schools. Like Finland, they almost all left me on red, except New Haven. They literally flew me out for a visit, little tryout kind of thing, killed it, got there, thought I was going to start that first year when I got there. Plan didn't really work out like that. Again, had a little fucked up thing in my head for a little while. Okay, make it work. This, that. Anyway, long story longer. If you can get it in your mind that it's going to happen, and you can visualize it, and you can truly believe it, and then you start putting action forward that thing to happen, it's gonna eventually happen. And so that's like with the pod, with the vlogs, it's cool that the Nepal stuff blew up. Relatively speaking, blew up in like once I put my mind to it. I was like, I'm going to blow this shit up. And bam, like within a month of me really, really putting it in my mind, like it's going to blow up. And then I had to put the effort in too. You guys know probably, I probably messaged you on Instagram saying, hey, if you could subscribe and maybe tell somebody about it and check out a video, I'd really appreciate it. And I sent out hundreds of messages because it was during quarantine and there wasn't shit else to do besides make my girl mad. So I was trying to do that as least amount of time as possible. Still ended up doing it, but it's like it takes that belief and then the action. And so with this thing, we're just going to keep it trucking. Keep it trucking. You know what I'm saying? And I think that wraps her up. From Czech Republic, I appreciate everybody here. And in Finland, I will see you soon. To everybody watching, thank you. Appreciate you. Much love. Peace. And have a wonderful day. Holla.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?